Hello, lovelies. Hollie Hope with the Beauty Perspective. And today we are talking about rituals. So, ritual practices are not always a level of worshiping a deity or giving over our power and giving over ourselves necessarily. So, a lot of people misunderstand the purpose of a ritual. So, a ritual is an act that brings us into alignment with a specific frequency. So that alignment could be, I want to access the same frequency as God so that I can feel more empowered in my own life and I can have a perspective of light, love, forgiveness, understanding for all of these humans on this planet. It can also be something along the lines of aligning with the frequency of a goddess or a deity to allow us to bring in more abundance and more self-worth and more connection to who we actually are. It can be a specific deity in the form that that deity represents something. So if I am to do an altar to say the beautiful goddess Aphrodite, my ritual, my altar is going to be on accessing a frequency of that love and that passion and that unconditioned and the nurturing and this pleasure, splendor energy. So it's not necessarily about worshiping and giving myself to her specifically. It's more about aligning myself with the energy and the emotion that her persona, her deification represents. More about allowing ourselves to be part of the embodiment of that specific deity. Say, if we were to connect in with Aphrodite, I'm not connecting in with Aphrodite and offering an altar and a ritual to give myself to her and become a slave to her and worship her. I am aligning my energy into what she represents, what she embodies, when we look at a symbol of her or a painting of her, what we're able to have conveyed within us and activate within us. I want to activate that unconditional love, that beautiful pleasure and passion and nurturing, the feminine softness and embodiment that flows and moves and that a lot of us in the world simply need more of. And so I'm aligning myself with the emotion and the energetical frequency of what that being is, rather than putting that being above me or saying, oh, my lumpy human self just can't ever be that. So please make me better. And I'll give you all of me and all of my energy if you just make me loved. That's more of the worshiping mentality where we give of ourselves, where we put another's vision, viewpoint, frequency, knowledge, wisdom, beauty above our own. That becomes the state of worship where somebody is lifted up on a pedestal and we can never be that. If we look at the differences between religion and spirituality, many religions are structured in a way that there is somebody who is elevated that we will never be able to reach. However, most religious deities offer the same advice and information for all of us humans. They say, come follow me. They say, we are one. They say, walk with me, be as I am, and return to your wholeness, return to you. You are God is within you. God walks with you. So if God is walking with me and God is in me, why would I put a symbol up on a pedestal and keep myself in the lowly shadows? That's more of what the world teaches us, is to think of ourselves as less than, think of ourselves as not enough. So then consumerism can come in and we purchase more and we chase more and we self-improve ourselves till we have fragments left over and we don't get to see the beautiful uniqueness of who we actually are, to where we forget about our ability to create exactly what we're experiencing, to have everything we actually desire, and the ability to deconstruct and let go of everything that we do not desire. And so ritual comes into play to access those parts of allowing ourselves to lift our focus and our vibration and our energy and our thoughts to a higher frequency, to a place of being where everything we desire already is. So if I'm doing, for example, in my morning rituals, I'm greeting the sun and I'm accessing those parts and I'm calling in the support from the directions from ancient grandmothers, and I have my crystals to amplify clarity and communication and creativity. I am allowing all these parts to come in to support me so that I could be more of who I was here to be and be less of what I've been told I am or I am not. And so as we allow ourselves to access rituals and to do some sort of formal action or even frolicking expressive action, we're allowing ourselves to dedicate part of ourselves to choosing in over and over again, to raising up to something greater, to allowing ourselves to be what we desire to be. And sometimes it takes a tactile visual experience for our mind to even let us see that we can have that we can be that we can go there. If we're calling in help, to offer a prayer written down on parchment and then burn it. It's allowing us to see, here is the challenge, here are the words, they're being burned into smoke, now they're going to spirit. So it lets us trust that we're going to be able to receive because we gave something, and now we're able to receive something back. Now, help is always there in the non-physical world. However, in the essence of light and permission and pure free choice and free will, beings outside of ourselves cannot intervene unless we ask. And so when it comes to rituals and to prayers and to ceremonies, it's allowing us to come in and ask for something specific so that we can get really clear on what is working for us, what is not working for us, and we can be open to that receiving of new information and receiving ideas and higher thoughts so that we don't get stuck in the loop and the imprisonment of what always has been. So it's a reaching out, it's an expanding, but it also can be playful and joyful and blissful as we honor those beings that help us and support us, and also the frequency those beings openly offer us if we simply allow ourselves to attune into them and connect to them. The format of ritual allows us to find the path on the way to what we want. However, that path is ours to walk alone, and the journey is ours to walk alone. Therefore, the type of ritual and what ritual works for you is going to be very unique to you versus somebody else. What a color represents to you may represent something different to someone else. And so it's important that when you're finding your own rituals, that you find what embodies the best parts of you, what feels very clear to you, what feels very much part of your life, so that you can allow yourself to have it personalized so it will activate certain memories and energies within yourself in order to obtain what you desire. Now, sometimes our rituals can become very routine. They can become so routine that there's no emotion or energetic offering with it. And this is something to be very mindful of. So, for example, a routine is wonderful. When I begin to make drums, I have a routine ritual. And so I burn specific herbs, I sing songs, I drum, I have specific crystals I use. I set my intent of cleansing myself and being very pure and open to whatever is channeled when I'm going to create this sacred tool. Now, sometimes I can add in extra pieces if it's something specific. Like, for example, if I'm creating a womb drum, the beautiful red drums that help to heal the wounds that we have from the womb, from our sisters, from our mothers, from our own children, then I may add in extra elements and extra herbs, or I may sing a different type of song in order to connect in with the frequency needed to make that specific drum. Or even if it's making it for a specific person who has specific needs, I can alter it at any time. Now, if I'm doing it every single time, it's not quite routine for me because I'm still very excited. The drum itself is so unique that I have that upliftment. However, I have had times where I did a ritual where each morning I would wake up, I would read certain books, I would say certain prayers, I would burn certain herbs, and it became a routine because every morning I would do the same thing. And then I would ask the same questions and I would get the same answers. And it was creating this level of stagnancy, this loop that I was stuck in. So at that point, I started to modify my morning rituals and create something different each time. So some mornings I was maybe feeling a little bit more depleted or a little bit more tired. So I didn't feel like I had a lot of energy that I could give to my ritual. So in that moment, I would do something like start my smudge, burn a candle so that I am inviting light in. And then I would pull oracle cards or tarot cards and get a message directly, very well printed. And then after that, I would journal my thoughts. And that would be my ritual. Other mornings, my mind was just spinning and so full. I didn't need more information to come in. I actually needed to feel stable. I needed to feel that calmness that comes. I needed to feel clear-minded. So my ritual would be lighting a candle, smudging with some beautiful sacred herbs, and then allowing myself just to drum and to sing. And without any plan or any preconceived intent or notion, just allowing myself to feel the vibration and to feel what my body feels like just to be. Other mornings I may do more stretching or yoga. Other mornings I may go for a walk up in the mountains. Allowing yourself to do something to break up that ritual space allows us to not get complacent with our healing practice, to allow a new, fresh perspective to come in perhaps a different form. And it's allowing the unification of our body, our mind, and our spirit to connect in with the non-physical spiritual world, to connect in with the future self that we want to be, to connect in with who we actually are right now, and even to connect in with those past parts that maybe are stuck or hidden. For me, any type of ritual, even if I'm out wandering in the mountains, I find that I love doing voice memos or journaling because I love sharing those thoughts and experiences I'm having and voicing them out loud, because that allows me to have it outside of myself and to see what I received so that I can remember it throughout that day. Now, do I go back and look at every single day I've ever gotten a download? Probably not. And most of the time, I probably won't even ever read or listen to those words again. But it's in the expression of them, in the claiming of them, that allows my energy to be in sync with who I want to be that day and carry it with me throughout the entire day. Now, some rituals and ceremonies are based on where the lunar cycle is or where the solar cycle is, like the solstice or the eclipse or the equinox. And these are times where we can have a special ceremony or ritual that will amplify the energies around us so that we can have more momentum added. When you have a lot of different frequencies coming in and you have changes and shifts that, if you're an empath like me, you can very much feel and you're very sensitive to, you might blame yourself or think that you're just off that day. But if you know what's going on and you do a ritual around it, it can actually help to take all the chaotic energies and funnel them in together for one common goal, one common focus, allowing these energies to be on the path with us, adding momentum, adding strength, adding courage, adding joy, adding bliss and connection with ourselves. And that's going to allow us to utilize any ritual we do into moving forward. So paying attention to the core of any ritual would be to know who you're calling in, who you are having join you on this journey, who you are asking for support in, rather than just calling in anything. It's also important that you have an intent. What is the purpose of it? Don't just do it because it's what you do every morning at 8 o'clock. Do it because there is a purpose for it. And even if it's a general purpose, like this is my time to connect in, great. So if you're not connecting in during your ritual, then maybe alter it a little bit or try something different so that you can get that deep connection. Maybe after your ritual, you need to go hug a tree. That's great. Go hug a tree. Finding some way to create it in a unique form. Now, this is one that a lot of us are resistant to at first. And it's because we've been taught and programmed that in order for something to be successful, in order to have a ritual that is going to allow us to connect, we have to do it right. We have to do it according to somebody else's download, teachings, introspective awareness. And the truth is it's going to be unique. Because it's going to be unique and it's a requirement that you tap in and decide what it is that works for you, which also can look like trying a lot of things that don't work for you in order to find that. But if you aren't willing to do the work with it, that's what's going to stop you. When we have something where we have little pieces and it's like, okay, but you have to do the work to build this. Like you have raw Legos and these Legos are going to be your ritual. Now that you have these raw pieces, you need to build something. And at first we may open the little booklet and use the grid and assemble it the way others have assembled it to get their connection. But the more you do that, the more you're going to find that changing it a little bit or allowing it to be more unique for you is going to give you a deeper experience because it's in a language that you understand energetically, emotionally, and physically. And so it's okay to take a beautiful ritual structure and format it so it fits you. But you have to do the work and the effort to see if it works for you, to assess after your ritual how you are feeling. Do you feel more connected or do you feel anxiety that you're never going to be good enough? that's a sign that that ritual is probably not activating what it needs to activate. And it could even be in the form of worship, where you're giving up yourself to honor somebody else rather than honoring yourself. And it's not selfish to honor yourself. You are a being that is unlike any other on this planet. And in your highest vibration, when you are the most you've ever been, you feel expansive. You feel like you want to share. You feel like you want to do good in the world. You feel like you can change the world. You feel like you, of all people on this planet, can make a difference. And that is a sign that you are in a ritual that's in alignment with you, rather than one that is following the format of somebody else and actually giving up your essence and your energy towards them rather than towards yourself and your offering that comes after yourself feels whole and complete.